Discover the incredible journey of a dreamer who turned $500 into a heartwarming ice cream empire. Mia Thompson stood with one foot on the precipice of despair and the other on the threshold of hope. Life had thrown some curveballs, sure, but nothing prepared her for the day she lost her job at the local diner. The weekly paychecks that had barely kept the lights on and food in the fridge vanished overnight. With only $500 left to her name, anxiety began to claw at her chest, making each breath feel like a mountain to climb. She envisioned her two kids, Max and Sophie, hungry and scared, their laughter dimming in the shadow of her financial struggle. But as Mia scoured her mind for solutions, a shimmering light pierced through the fog of worry. Her grandmother's cherished ice cream recipes. Memories flooded in uninvited sunny afternoons filled with the sweet aroma of freshly churned cream and laughter echoing like music in the air. In that moment, nostalgia became her ally. Against the backdrop of dire bills and uncertainty, she transformed her kitchen into a makeshift ice cream shop, believing that joy could coexist with the weight of her obligations. Each batch she created was more than just ice cream. It was a love letter to her grandmother. Pistachio, chocolate chip cookie dough, and mint chocolate chip, every flavor served memories that wrapped around her heart like a warm embrace. As she scooped her creations and plastered labels on cups, whispers filled the air at the local farmers market. Some community members looked on in skepticism while others cheered her on. Could this single mother really succeed? "Is that Mia Thompson, the diner girl?" murmured one woman, eyes narrowed. But just as quickly another chimed, "I heard she's making ice cream now. Sounds delicious." Mia felt a twinge of pride, yet doubt lingered like an uninvited guest. Then there was the looming figure of her estranged father, who had once walked away from the family he now wanted to reclaim. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As Mia forged connections with other vendors, camaraderie bloomed. The fabric of the town began to mend, stitched together with shared smiles and heartfelt conversations. Just as she felt the first threads of acceptance and purpose weaving into her life, disaster struck. A storm unleashed torrents of rain, turning streets into rivers. Neighbors became friends as they banded together, salvaging homes and spirits. Amidst the chaos, Mia faced a crucial crossroads. Her father's voice rang out at a town hall meeting, brimming with authority. "Why not return to the family business where you belong, Mia?" he asked. Each syllable felt like a stone dropped into her heart. The crowd hushed and all eyes turned to her, waiting for an answer. Should she fight for her dreams or adhere to the family legacy she had long resisted? With tears in her eyes but determination in her heart, Mia stared at the melting ice cream in her hands, its sweetness a reminder that she could embrace her true self, even when the weight of family legacy bore down on her. As the room held its breath, she felt the world shift, eager to discover if she could defy expectations and change the direction of her story forever. Mia's heart raced as the murmurs of the crowd enveloped her. The tension hung heavy in the air, thick with unspoken judgments and the flickering light of hope. She could feel the eyes of the townspeople piercing through her, each gaze a tug on her heartstrings. Her father's poised figure in the front row sent a shot of panic through her. His gaze, filled with expectation, made her want to retreat, but retreating felt like abandoning her dream. Why not? She thought, feeling the weight of those two words settle in her mind. Why not return to a place that had caused so much heartache? Gripping the melting ice cream cup tightly, she took a deep breath. The flavors swirled within, each one a reminder of joy, warmth, and family traditions. They brought back the laughter of her childhood. Those memories had always felt comfortingly distant, and now they were her foundation. "I'm not just a diner girl," she whispered under her breath, summoning courage. "I'm Mia Thompson and I am an ice cream maker." As she summoned her resolve, the crowd leaned in closer, their faces a patchwork of intrigue and concern. "I've spent so long hiding in the shadows," she began, her voice trembling as it gained strength. "But I can't do that anymore." Each word carved a path through the fog of doubt that had clouded her mind. "This is my passion, my dream. It's time to create my own legacy. A cheer erupted from the back. A familiar voice cutting through the tension. Molly, her closest friend. That tiny flicker of support ignited a blaze within Mia, fueling her determination. Pride swelled in her chest as she locked eyes with Max and Sophie, who were sitting on the sidelines, watching their mother blooming before their very eyes. The crowd stirred, and Mia could see it, the whispers mutating into rallying cries. She looked back at her father, who now wore an expression that bubbled between pride and confusion. Could he truly understand that she was ready to carve her path? Did he even want to? Sometimes you have to break free from the chains of expectations, she continued, as uncertainty shimmered in her voice. What if I succeed? What if I turn this little ice cream stand into something that brings joy to our community? Then we'd all be behind you, Mia, shouted another voice from the crowd. Laughter blended with applause, energizing her. Mia could feel the tension in the room shift. Hope filled the air like sweet cotton candy at a fair. Perhaps the journey ahead would not be easy, but she would not forge it alone. The sun peeked out, casting a warm glow that promised brighter days. She clutched the cup tighter, savoring the immediate sweetness on her lips. This isn't just about me, she laughed, feeling lighter with every word. This is about community. Together, let us create ice cream that warms hearts. As she stepped down from the stage, buoyed by the encouragement, her father approached. The look in his eyes held a mix of admiration and regret, and something inside her stirred. Could he truly be ready to be part of her new life? But just as she opened her mouth to speak, an urgent message buzzed her phone. The town had a new challenge ahead. A neighboring community was threatening a legal claim against her making ice cream at the market. Mia's heart froze. It's not going to be that easy, is it? Her determination bristled, and her story was about to take another unexpected turn. Mia stood in the middle of the bustling square, her phone buzzing like a restless bee in her pocket. The cheers of the townspeople faded into the background as the reality of the message took hold. A legal claim? Against her? She felt suffocated by a wave of doubt, as if someone had thrown a thick blanket over her dreams. Were they trying to pull her down before she even had a chance to rise? Hey Mia! Molly's voice broke through her swirling thoughts, and she turned to her friend, who was beaming with excitement. That was incredible. You should have seen the crowd. They're really with you. Mia mustered a smile, grateful for the support, but her heart was heavy. Molly, did you hear about the claim? What if they shut me down before I even start? Molly's expression shifted from joy to concern. But you won't let that happen, right? You're gonna fight for this. Of course, Mia said, though doubt slinked into her voice. But I need a plan. I can't face this alone. Together they paced through the crowd, weaving past familiar faces, each one a reminder of the community Mia wished to uplift. The air was thick with the scent of warm waffles and freshly baked breads. She could almost taste the ice cream that was still a mere dream. What if I could show them how valuable this ice cream stand could be? Maybe I could court their support instead of facing their wrath. Molly nodded enthusiastically, her determination echoing Mia's heart. Exactly. Turn them into allies. You could host an ice cream making workshop. Invite them to taste your flavors, get them involved. Mia felt a spark reignite within her as they strolled past the old fountain, water cascading down like memories, refreshing her spirit. Yes, create something amazing that they can't resist. Something collaborative. As they brainstormed ideas, Mia's mind danced with possibilities. She could see families gathering together, laughter echoing as they mixed unique flavors and created their own ice cauldron of delight. Just before they reached the town hall, Mia noticed her father standing off to the side. He looked unsure, an island of contemplation amid the vibrant crowd. She felt a pull in her chest. What if she murmured, what if I ask him to be part of this? We could work together. Molly's eyes widened. That could be great. You could build both a business and relationship. Mia hesitated. But what if he doesn't support me? What if I'm just a disappointment for him? Or what if he surprises you? Molly countered, her words enraging the hope inside of Mia. With a steadiness she didn't quite feel, Mia walked toward her father. His face softened as he noticed her, and the distance between them felt like an expanse filled with unresolved weight. Dad, she started, the air buzzing with the need for communication. Can we talk? Before he could respond, A commotion erupted from the crowd. Gasping voices echoed, and Mia turned to see what was happening. A group from the neighboring community had arrived, clutching banners and shouting slogans. The tension gripped her heart like a vice. This could escalate quickly. Mia's breath quickened. Would she stand her ground, or retreat to the shadows as she always had? Together, let us create something beautiful, she shouted, the words bursting forth as if driven by something she hadn't yet discovered. With that declaration, the crowd turned toward her. The moment felt colossal. Would they rally to her side? The answer lay just beyond the fierce glint of uncertain eyes, waiting for her to embrace her truth. Mia's heart raced, her eyes darting between the anxious crowd and the banners flapping in the wind. She saw anger and confusion prevailing on the faces of neighbors, while hopeful eyes peered out from the mural of her dream. They didn't seem to know what to make of her statement. She took a deep breath, letting fear settle rather than overtake her. Listen, she called out, her voice steadying. I know some of you are worried. I get it. But this stand isn't just about ice cream. It's about community. It's about all of us. Underneath all the noise, a whisper of doubt still lingered. What if they didn't care? What if the legal claim turned them away instead of pulling them closer? But Molly squeezed her hand, grounding her. Just keep going. Gathering her resolve, Mia continued. What if I host workshops to involve everyone? I want to share my passion. I want every flavor to carry a piece of our stories, our hometown. Some in the crowd exchanged glances. She could see minds ticking, processing what she meant. There was apprehension but also curiosity, and that felt like a tiny ember of hope. One voice broke through the clamor. What would these workshops even look like? It was Sarah, the owner of the local bakery, and the tension shifted just a bit. Imagine this, Mia replied, her enthusiasm bubbling forth. Families can come together, create their own flavors, and we can all taste them. It'll be a celebration of our community. We can have contests, feature recipes based on town history. Laughter settled over the group like a welcome breeze, the mood lifting slightly. Ice cream that tells a story, announced Molly, jumping in with excitement. Yes, Mia added, the idea blossoming in her chest. I want to create a menu that connects with each of you. Not just vanilla or chocolate. Let's explore local fruits, special recipes. Let us remind everyone of why we love this town. Her father watched, his expression unreadable. She felt a tug of hope that perhaps he was beginning to understand. Now she turned her gaze to him, her voice low but strong. Dad, will you help me? This can be more than just a business. I want this to be a space where people come together. What do you think? For a moment, silence enveloped them. The ripple of anticipation coursed through the crowd, and her father's brow furrowed in thought. Then finally he spoke. Sounds different. That familiarity stirred something inside Mia. Was it support? Was he genuinely contemplating the idea? Before he could elaborate, a loud shout from the neighboring group pierced the atmosphere like a shard of glass. This isn't about just ice cream. One leader shouted. It's about preserving our community. Mia felt the energy tangle again. A looming divide. People were torn between their willingness to embrace the new and their fear of the unknown. Listen, Mia yelled, her eyes sparkling with urgency as she looked at the new arrivals. This can be a chance for collaboration. What if I partner with you all and help blend our ideas? Instead of hostility, let us create something together. The murmurs shifted. Conversations sparked, and her heart surged with hope. There was potential here, a bridge being formed right before her eyes. As voices of dissent faded, she thought of every flavor she had dreamed of, sweet and vibrant like the heart of the town. But the tension still hung in the air, and she needed more than words to convince them all. Would they side with tradition or with her dream of transformation? And as she posed that question, the crowd looked from one another to Mia, an uncharted path ahead of them yet to be trodden. Would they choose to step into the unknown together? As the words hung in the air, Mia felt a pulsing mixture of fear and excitement. She could almost hear the thoughts swirling through the crowd. The wind carried hushed discussions and glances darted between friends and neighbors, weighing her dream against their fears. Each moment felt like a heartbeat, echoing louder as it bounced between them. Together, she whispered to herself almost like a prayer. Okay. Another voice broke free from the crowd. It was Marcus, an elderly man with a twinkle of mischief in his eyes. What flavors should we start with then? You can't have ice cream without trying something delicious. His warm tone brought laughter, and soon joyful murmurs began to grow. Mia felt the warmth inside her swell. How about a classic but with a twist? She replied eagerly. What if we make a Main Street surprise flavor with local berries and a hint of mint? Or grandma's pie? Chimed in Sarah. My grandma used to make this incredible pie with fresh peaches every summer. We could turn that into ice cream. Ideas started flying like colorful confetti in the wind. The crowd, once full of uncertainty, sparked like fireworks, igniting a sense of shared purpose. Everyone spoke, their voices blending seamlessly, sharing recipes and stories just like Mia had hoped. Even her dad seemed to be warming up, listening intently, tapping his foot ever so slightly to the rhythm of the newfound energy. The silence around him began to evaporate, little by little. Listen up, Mia called again, her eyes glinting with excitement as she glanced around at her friends and neighbors. If we can all come together to build this program, we could showcase flavors from every family in our town. It could be a way to remember the taste of home. A soft murmur of yes drifted through the assembly. Nods and smiles began to punctuate the crowd, and Mia felt those tiny embers glowing brighter. Suddenly, a young girl stepped forward, her cheeks flushed and eyes wide. It was Emma, the neighborhood's ice cream enthusiast. Can we do a flavor inspired by the town's history? Something that reminds everyone of our heritage? In that moment, Mia saw clarity unfolding. Absolutely, she exclaimed, heart racing. An historical series. Each month, we could create and celebrate a different flavor that tells a part of our story. And you, Emma, could help us pick them. A wave of agreement rippled across the crowd, and Mia could feel the collective edginess begin to dissolve. There was laughter, colors swirling again among their ideas, shaping into something beautiful. It was starting. But in the back of her mind, she knew there were still those who remained hesitant, holding tight to their doubts. A voice of opposition would likely not remain silent for long, and she had to be ready. This isn't over, she thought, her determination hardening. The moment hung vibrant and alive, yet Mia's heart sank as she caught sight of a familiar figure slipping into the edges of the crowd. It was Tim, a member of the local council, known for his staunch defense of tradition. Mia could feel her pulse quicken, knowing that whatever Tim had to say would tip the scale one way or another. What would he think of this unexpected alliance? Would he try to dismantle the new collective energy? Her fingers twisted nervously, but she took a breath. This was the chance she had waited for, the chance to embrace the unknown and fight for her dream. Are we ready to face him together? She wondered, hope blooming in her chest. Would the unity forged today be enough to keep that dream alive? Mia watched as Tim moved through the crowd, his expression unreadable. People stepped aside, parting ways for him as if he were a wave crashing over the shore. Her stomach knotted. He had that serious look on his face, a mixture of skepticism and authority. Good to see everyone so enthusiastic, he began, his tone measured, always careful. But have we thought this through? Ice cream is one thing, but running a program, what's the plan? Murmurs rippled through the crowd, a mixture of confusion and uncertainty. Mia felt herself shrink a little, but she fought it. She couldn't let him derail their moment. Tim, she said, stepping forward with a shaky confidence. We've got ideas that celebrate our town and bring us together. We're not just making ice cream. We're creating community. Somewhere in the back, Marcus nodded. That's right. This isn't about just flavors. It's about stories. Everyone has a family recipe or a childhood memory tied to home. We can do something special, something vibrant. Tim raised an eyebrow, but Mia didn't miss the flicker of interest. The conversations around her shifted too, laughter mixing with earnest appeals as the crowd rallied. Let us share our heritage, Sarah added, waving a hand. I mean, who wouldn't want to taste grandma's pie? And think of all the kids who can learn from this. It's educational. Mia couldn't help but smile. Each voice that joined seemed to bolster her own. They weren't just fighting for ice cream flavors anymore, they were fighting for their stories, their town, their happiness. Tim's brow furrowed. I appreciate the passion, but how do we sustain this? What about permits, funding? Wait, Emma interrupted, her voice tinkling like wind chimes. What if we hosted community fundraisers? ice cream socials, bake sales. We could even partner with local farms for ingredients. Hope flickered like candlelight in Mia's heart. They were brainstorming, daring to think big, and the energy in the air surged. Tim crossed his arms, his expression softening just a bit. Fundraisers are great, but how do you plan to manage it all? It's a lot of responsibility for a group. Mia felt the pressure of his gaze like a spotlight. She opened her mouth, ready to voice her thoughts, but suddenly doubt crept in again. What if he was right? What if this was too big? But remembering the excited faces of her friends and the joy in Marcus and Sarah's eyes anchored her. Together, she repeated, drawing strength from their unity. I'm willing to organize it. We'll divide the duties, decide together. And if any hurdles come along, we climb them as a team. A ripple of agreement swept through the group, fueled by nods and smiles. They were ready to take this leap into the unknown. Tim scratched his chin, eyes narrowing slightly as he contemplated their fervor. All right, he said slowly, the timbre of his voice shifting. If you're serious about this, I'll meet with you to discuss it further. A plan must be concrete before we move forward. Relief flooded through Mia, her heart racing with excitement. But behind that thrill was a new wave of anxiety. They had won this round, but would it be enough? Thank you, Tim, she exclaimed, her voice barely containing the relief and joy. Then Tim turned to leave, but as he walked away, Mia's heart sank slightly. She realized he held the power to approve or deny their dream. What's next? She wondered aloud, glancing around at her friends. This wasn't just about ice cream. It was a battle for their stories, their community, their shared history. Mia felt the weight of it all, as if hopes and dreams now rested on her shoulders. Confident faces reflected their trust in her. She tightened her grip on that feeling, clinging to the belief that they could turn this dream into something tangible. But deep inside lingered the nagging doubt. What if it all fell apart? Are we really ready for this? Mia thought, tension bubbling beneath her surface. As voices filled the air with laughter and excitement around her, she knew she had to find a way to bridge her fears between them and success. How would they transform the flicker of their dreams into a blazing reality? Planning took over Mia's mind as she gathered her friends in a small cafe that smelled of freshly brewed coffee and pastries. The walls were painted a sunny yellow, filled with cheerful photographs of the town's history. It felt manageable here, lighter than the weight she carried outside. Okay, everyone, Mia said, setting a determined tone. We need to figure this out, like right now. Tim's on board, but we have to show him we're serious. Marcus leaned forward, resting his elbows on the table. We need a mission statement. Something that sums up why we're doing this. Right. How about scoops of happiness where every flavor is a story? Emma suggested, her enthusiasm bubbling as brightly as a soda. I love that. Sarah clapped her hands. It captures our community in one line. We can even showcase each flavor with its story at our events. Grandma's recipes, Uncle Joe's special mix. I'll start a list of potential flavors, Mia added, feeling a spark of excitement. Let us get everyone's stories and recipes. This is going to be the heart of our community. As they brainstormed, laughter echoed in the cafe. Ideas flew around like fireflies igniting hope. But beneath the excitement, Mia felt that ever-looming question: was it really enough? Okay, so now what about fundraising? She asked, turning serious again. We need money to get this off the ground. Bake sales are a classic. Marcus chimed in. We could set up a booth at the farmer's market. And food trucks. Sarah added, her eyes bright. We could collaborate with local businesses. Maybe have them sponsor a flavor. The more they spoke, the more the vision expanded. Soon they talked not just of ice cream, but of ice cream socials, community storytelling nights, even local art displays at events. Mia could almost feel the vibrancy in the air as she imagined people gathered together, united by joy and nostalgia. Suddenly, Mia's phone buzzed against the table. It was a notification from the community center. Wait, this is good news, she said, glancing at the screen. They're offering the space for events at a discounted rate. We should jump on that. A ripple of cheers filled the cafe, and Mia felt the tide of her anxiety begin to pull away. Let us not wait, she declared, determination coursing through her. I'll reach out and get us a meeting for the first official community event. The sooner we get started, the sooner we can make this happen. Her friends cheered and nodded, excitement sparking in their eyes. But as she looked around, the weight of change pressed on her chest again. It was a thrill, yes, but what if they didn't succeed? Just then, the cafe door swung open, and in strode an unexpected visitor. It was Tim, looking even more serious than before. Mia's heart raced. What was he doing here? Did he have new concerns? His focus immediately landed on her, and for a moment, the playful chatter of her friends fell silent. What are you all up to? Tim asked, glancing at the lively group surrounding the table. We were brainstorming, Tim. Mia stepped up, her voice tinged with uncertainty and hope. We're ready to take the next steps. We wanted to prove that we can do this. But inside, uncertainty gnawed at her. What would he think of their wild ideas? As she stood there, with the weight of her friends' hopes resting on her shoulders and Tim's focused gaze upon her, Mia felt the undercurrent of tension. Could this dream become a reality? Or would it fizzle out before they even got started? Will you join us? She asked, a final plea lingering in the air. And at that moment, something shifted in Tim's expression. Tim took a deep breath, the tension in the air almost palpable. He stepped closer, his eyes scanning the excited faces of Mia's friends. For a moment, time seemed to freeze as Mia held her breath. I love the passion you all have, Tim finally said, a hint of a smile breaking through his serious demeanor. But let us be real. It's going to take more than just ideas to pull this off. Mia felt the lump in her throat tighten. We know, but we're committed. We'll work hard, and we believe this can bring everyone together. The community needs it. Tim nodded slowly. All right, hear us what I'm thinking. You need someone who knows how to run a business. If you want me involved, I need to see a solid plan. Something that shows me there's potential for success. Mia's heart raced. It wasn't the outright rejection she feared, but it wasn't encouragement either. We can do that. We'll write a detailed plan and we can meet to discuss it. What do you say? Tim raised an eyebrow. I'm in, but you'll have to show me data. Statistics on how food businesses perform, potential customer bases, and a financial forecast. Panic rose in Mia's chest. Of course we can research that. She interjected, confidence masking her fear. We'll show you just how much this means to us. Tim's expression softened slightly. I believe in you all, but know that it's not just about the fun of it. You will face challenges. Are you prepared for that? Mia exchanged glances with her friends. They had come so far, but this felt like a hurdle she hadn't anticipated. We can handle challenges. We'll support each other. No matter what comes our way, she affirmed. Good. I'll be looking forward to those numbers then, Tim said before turning to leave. But before he stepped away, he added, by the way, I want in on the recipe stories. Those traditions are gold. As Tim walked out, the cafe buzzed with chatter once again. But Mia felt a mix of fear and exhilaration. Would they be able to deliver a plan that met his expectations? I can't believe he's on board, Emma exclaimed, throwing her hands in the air. We're finally getting somewhere. Yeah, but we need to get to work, Marcus said, the excitement of the moment bubbling into determination. We can start with some research tonight. Let us pull together everything we can find. Mia nodded, still feeling the weight of what they had ahead of them. Okay, we'll break it down into sections. Each of us can take a piece. We have to get it right. Hours passed as Mia and her friends hunched over their laptops, fueled by coffee and the thrill of possibility. As they dove deep into research, they discovered stories of successful local businesses, statistics that painted a hopeful picture, and even recipes that hinted at the heart of their community. By the end of the night, their energy was spent, but their resolve was stronger. They shared smiles, laughter, and the glow of dreams taking form. But as Mia headed home, exhaustion washed over her, and doubt slipped back into her mind. What if it wasn't enough? What if Tim didn't see the same potential they did? That night in her quiet room, Mia lay awake, staring at the ceiling. It felt like a mountain they were climbing, with twists and turns she couldn't fully see. Would they make it to the top together? In the depths of her thoughts, an unexpected question surfaced. If they succeeded, what would it truly mean for everyone involved? As sleep finally overcame her, she whispered into the darkness, what happens if this dream turns into something extraordinary? Little did she know, the very next day would bring a lesson in community and resilience that would change everything. The sun washed over Mia's neighborhood, casting a golden hue that felt almost magical. She awoke with a mix of excitement and anxiety swirling inside her. Today was the day they would present their plan to Tim. The task loomed large, but as she gathered her friends at the cafe, she felt something shift. Each smile exchanged held a promise of togetherness, their silent pact to fight for their dream. "All right, team," Mia said, her voice steady despite the flutter in her chest. "Let us keep this focused. We've got a lot of work to do." Emma stretched her arms with a grin. "I've been up since dawn. I made breakfast burritos to fuel our brainstorming session." She waved a tray like a trophy, laughter erupting in the corner. "Perfect. Food is always a good start," Marcus added, grabbing a burrito with enthusiasm. They began to huddle around the table, the air thick with energy as they dug into the breakfast. Mia spread out their notes, highlighting key points and data they had gathered. "Okay, so here's what we know. The community loves local businesses, especially food. They eat it up literally and figuratively. We just need to show Tim that our vision connects with that. Let us get specific. We don't just need cold numbers. We need stories," Marcus chimed in, his eyes bright. "What does this cafe mean to the people here? We need those voices to shine through." "Absolutely." Mia agreed, grateful for Marcus's insight. "We'll collect testimonials. If we can capture the heart of our community, it will resonate. No one can argue with passion, right?" The group dove into the task, brainstorming which locals to interview, crafting questions that would pull at the heartstrings. Stories started flowing effortlessly. They learned about a couple who met in the cafe and now brought their kids, and a single father who found comfort there after a rough day. Each tale added weight to their plan as lunch approached. Mia noticed a shift in the atmosphere. The excitement of possibilities settled into a buzzing determination. They were creating something real together. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew the cafe door open. Tim stepped inside, his presence demanding attention. Mia's heart pounded, the thrill of the moment setting her on edge. Did he come to collect their proposal, or was he just passing by? "Hey, I just wanted to check in," he said, glancing around the cafe. "I hope you've been busy. The deadline is coming up." "Tim," Mia called out, her voice shaking slightly. "We were just talking about you. Can we show you what we've been working on?" Tim's face brightened, and he nodded. "Absolutely. I'd love to see how you're envisioning this." Mia quickly gathered their notes, and as she set them before him, she felt the weight of every late-night thought, every doubt, and every moment of hope resting in his hands. "We've worked hard to outline our vision. It focuses on the community. We believe the recipes and stories can truly connect us all." Tim studied the papers, his brow furrowing in concentration. The cafe fell silent, and Mia could almost hear the tick of the clock as everyone held their breath. Then, just as the tension seemed unbearable, Tim looked up, a slow smile creeping onto his face. "This is impressive. I see passion here and it matters." Mia's heart swelled, but Tim continued, "But now comes the hard part. Are you ready for the next step? Because if this goes forward, the real challenges will begin." Mia exchanged quick glances with her friends, the weight of his words sinking in. Were they really prepared for what was to come? "Bring it on," Mia exclaimed. They weren't about to back down now, as Tim nodded approvingly. Mia felt a rush of determination. The dream was alive, but what would they need to sacrifice for it? Stepping back, Tim said, "Let us schedule a follow-up. I'll need to see your community feedback incorporated, along with those financials." The thrill was intoxicating, but as he walked away, Mia couldn't shake the feeling of impending reality crawling closer. What challenges awaited them, and would they be able to weather the storm? Together, Mia stood at the crossroads, her heart pounding with anticipation and fear. The plans were in place and people were showing up for her. But the magnitude of it all settled in like a heavy snow, blanketing her reality with the uncertainty of what would happen next. After countless nights of preparation, they were now on the brink of something big. With each passing day, the community began to rally around her and her ice cream dream. The workshop ideas took off, local families eager to create their own unique flavors. Word spread, and Mia noticed a shift in energy. The town was buzzing, united under the promise of a shared project. Yet, in her quiet moments, doubt still crept in, whispering fears of failure. What if it all crumbles? What if I let everyone down? Mia pushed through those fears for the sake of her kids, her friends, and the dream itself. She was fueled by the smiles of Max and Sophie, who eagerly helped her scoop flavors, their laughter turning the kitchen work into playtime. On weekends, the community center transformed, filled with families mixing, tasting, creating. Hope seemed to swirl through the air like the scent of fresh churned ice cream. But then the challenges began to emerge. Tim presented the first big hurdle, a series of legal regulations that felt overwhelming. Mia braced herself, determined not to let those hurdles define her dream. "We'll figure it out together," she assured her team, rallying her spirits as they sat in the conference room, paper-strewn chaos around them, ideas dancing in their heads. "Let us break each problem down into pieces," she suggested. "Together we can tackle them one at a time." That ignited a fire of collaboration. Each obstacle became a rallying point, igniting discussions that often spiraled into laughter and camaraderie as the weeks flowed into one another. Mia felt the ocean tide of anticipation crash into her. The grand unveiling of their collective effort was set, a big ice cream festival at the community center that would share their flavors and stories. The day arrived, sunny and warm, filled with laughter that danced like fireflies in the evening sky. Families from all over came together, drawn in by the promise of flavors that were reflections of their lives. The air was sweetened by nostalgia, a melting pot of memories infused into each scoop. "This is what it means to be a community," Mia marveled as she watched friends and strangers share giggles, taste-testing flavors inspired by their histories. "Is that really your grandma's pie?" a little girl exclaimed, her eyes wide with surprise. "Yes, and we have a special flavor named after you. Imagine that," Mia replied with a radiant smile. Every spoonful brought laughter and stories. It felt like a reunion of hearts stitched together by that delectable ice cream. Then it happened as Mia took a moment to breathe in the beauty of the event. She saw Tim standing at the edge, observing with a mix of pride and respect. He approached, catching her off guard. "I've got to hand it to you, Mia. You pulled this off. It's all here: community, love, flavors that tell stories. You've created something magical." Mia's heart swelled as she absorbed his words. They had conquered their challenges together, and she felt a sense of completeness settle in. "Thank you," she said sincerely. "This has been a group effort, and everyone brought something special to the table." Then she noticed something else: her father weaving through the crowd, a hesitant smile playing at the edges of his mouth. He walked over, and for a beat, they shared a moment of silence, eyes locking in a conversation so much deeper than words. "Mia," he started, voice thick with emotion, "I've missed you. I'm proud of the woman you've become. The way you lifted this community." His voice trailed off, as tears formed in his eyes. Though unexpected, her heart opened. "I've grown, Dad. And the past was a lesson. I believe we can create new traditions together," she said, the flicker of hope igniting the air between them. And that short exchange, Mia felt years of distance dissolve, paving a path towards reconciliation, blending her dad back into her heart. They were not just an ice cream stand. They were a family slowly stitching their lives back together. As the event wound down, with children giggling in the twilight, Mia caught sight of Max and Sophie, their faces smeared with ice cream, giggling with joy. In that moment, she realized life was about more than just dreams, but about sharing those dreams with the people you love. They had traveled a journey filled with challenges, each scoop of ice cream reflecting not just flavors but triumphs and tragedies, resilience intertwined with joy. Mia's heart glowed warmly. This was home, and it was bursting with potential. And so, standing there amidst the laughter, under the glow of string fairy lights, Mia smiled wide, a heart full of love. What's next? She wondered, excited about the journey ahead. And with that, her story bloomed, not just as Mia the ice cream maker, but as Mia the dreamer, the community builder, and the mother who would always fight for her family. They were ready for whatever came next. Now's your chance to join our journey. You need to subscribe now and become part of our story. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support. We want to hear your thoughts. Comment below with your reaction to Mia's incredible transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this story of resilience and hope. Together we're building a community